What's going down, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In this video, it's a much anticipated video. We got the 49ers and Vikings divisional round playoff game preview. This is going to be a hell of a game. It's the first ever game held at Levi's Stadium. First ever playoff game held at Levi's Stadium. So, for us Niners fans, and for those who live in that area of Santa Clara and travel to, Niner games, a lot of them want to get the Levi's feeling, kind of like how the Candlestick feeling was, because Candlestick was one of them stadiums that it had so much history behind it. And honest to God, I really still, to this day, I understand, as the future moves, you can upgrade stadiums, you get new stadiums and things like that. But Candlestick was a hell of a stadium, and that was one of the best stadiums in the NFL when it was up. But obviously, our first season at Levi's was in 2014, and ever since 2014, once Harbaugh left, right after the 2014 season, that's when it got pretty ugly from there on out until obviously now. But Niners fans are stuck through it, and I mean 2-14 seasons, 4-12 seasons, 5-11 seasons, 8-8. We stuck through it all, and now we get to see the glory of this team built by Shanahan and John Lynch in the playoffs. So I cannot wait for this game. Last game was a great game that the Niners played against Seattle to win the NFC West, but now, it's playoff time. We're in the real stages of the playoffs, and it's a must win. It's a win or go home, and the Niners are going to have to come out pretty fury. Now this is the thing. I did not expect to play Minnesota. I said that in the video that I made when they won against the Saints. I said I didn't expect them to win. I mean, a lot of people didn't expect them to win. I think Minnesota had like a 5% chance to win in New Orleans, and that 5% so happened to be lucky that day, and the Vikings beat the Saints. And that changed the whole NFC playoff picture, because if the Saints would have beat the Vikings, the 49ers would have played the winner of the Philadelphia game and the Seattle game. So we'd have been playing Seattle. If the Saints would have won last week, we'd have been playing Seattle in the divisional round. But instead, Seattle's playing Green Bay in the divisional round, and we're playing Minnesota. So it's likely we meet Seattle in the NFC Championship. But to be completely honest, I think they're going to lose Saturday. I think Green Bay will beat them. But either way, so quick notes for both teams. For the 49ers, obviously, we've got Jaquiski Tartt coming back. We've got D Ford coming back. And Quan Alexander has been medically cleared to play by 49ers team doctors. And he has been medically cleared, but Kyle Shanahan said it's going to be a coach's decision on whether or not he plays. Quan Alexander, I cannot believe that he's literally back already from a torn pec. That's just mind-boggling. And for the fact that he can come back, I know he wants to come back. I know he wants to play in this divisional round game, and I know he'll be a pretty shitty person if Shanahan says that he can't play. So, in my opinion, I think Quan Alexander's playing. I really do. I think there's all signs point to Quan Alexander being active against the Vikings this Sunday, or this Saturday. So, those are three key starters. And as for our 53-man roster, I don't think we have one player on our 53-man roster that didn't practice yesterday. That is great news, especially heading into the playoffs. You want to have as many healthy guys as you can get. And for the fact that we have three key players on our defense coming back, D Ford, Quan Alexander, Jaquiski Tartt, that's going to help tremendously. So as for the 49ers as well, Ahkello Witherspoon has been named the starting right cornerback aside of Richard Sherman for Saturday. This report came out yesterday, and I was actually going to make a video on this last night, but I ended up getting distracted with other stuff that I had to get done. But either way, Ahkello Witherspoon came out and said to the media yesterday that he will be the starting corner aside from Richard Sherman in the divisional round against the Vikings. a lot of people thought Emmanuel Mosley was going to get that start, and personally, I did as well. I thought Emmanuel Mosley showed a lot when he started, when Ahkello Witherspoon was hurt, and I really do like Emmanuel Mosley. He's a great player. Yes, he's still developing, but for me, I think he's played better than Ahkello Witherspoon this year. I really do. And for the fact that Ahkello Witherspoon gets that starting job, like anything Kyle Shanahan, Rob Saleh, and John Lynch do, I completely trust because they've made moves like the Navarro Bowman move where I was a really shitty person when that happened. But once it kind of calmed down and the release was about a month over, I was kind of like, well, maybe this was the better decision because, when you have new guys coming in and your front office and your head coaching position, they're going to want to bring in their own roster and they're going to want to make their own roster. This roster we have now is full of draft picks from John Lynch, especially on the defense. Fred Warner, Ahkello Witherspoon. I mean, there's a shit ton of guys on our defense that have been drafted by Lynch and Shanahan, and offense that have been drafted by Lynch and Shanahan that have been phenomenal. I mean, I think the best draft pick probably that Lynch and Shanahan did, it's got to be Bosa and George drafting Kittle. Now, I don't really know if Kittle must have just had some that blood in him, that he was a badass or something, but he was a prize in the draft, and when he fell to us and we drafted him, I couldn't have ever told you that he would have been the best tight end in the NFL. George Kittle is the baddest MFer in the game, and he is better than Travis Kelce, whether you Chiefs fans, whether NFL fans want to say it or not. Travis Kelce is not better than George Kittle, so stop comparing him to George Kittle. Okay, thank you. Anyways, let's get back to the preview video. For the Vikings, Stephon Diggs actually has not practiced. He did not practice the first two days this week in practice. I don't know what kind of injury that was. I think I seen the report, but I just didn't know what type of, I forgot what injury it was. And then Adam Thielen, he also he's hurt, or he's got like an ankle injury or something of some sort. But I guess he got an MRI on that ankle, and it's encouraging to hear the results, I guess, because he's expected to play against the 49ers. So the Vikings, for them, I think really Kirk Cousins is going to be the deciding factor for the Vikings in this game. And this is the reason why. Our defensive line has been pretty quiet probably for about the last 3 weeks of football. Really, the first half of the season, they've been dominant. And it was because, we had D Ford, we had Quan Alexander, we had Jaquiski Tartt. We put up outrageous numbers on defense when we had Kwaski, D Ford, and Quan Alexander all on the field together. So that was when our defense was at their best. So obviously losing them towards the first half of the season was definitely, it was definitely kind of devastating in a way because our defense really hasn't been as good. But with D Ford coming back, all that's going to do is open up more opportunities for Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, Nick Bosa, you name it. The whole defensive line, it's going to get them more opportunities to make more plays. And that's why having D Ford back is a key piece, because not only is he a hell of a football player, but he opens up opportunities for other guys on the defensive line to make plays. And that's for every pass rusher. If we didn't have DeForest Buckner, our defensive line probably wouldn't be as good because we wouldn't get as much opportunities. So with D Ford coming back and with guys on the roster coming back, it's always good that you have those type of guys that can make a difference on your defensive line, and you have those guys on like D Ford that make everybody better around him. So having D Ford, Quan Alexander, and Jaquiski Tartt back for this upcoming game is going to be huge. But with that being said, here are my predictions. There is no way in hell I am picking the Minnesota Vikings in this game. Even if I wasn't a 49ers fan, this would be a safe pick for me. I would pick the 49ers in this game. Now, I'm not saying that we're just going to blow them out. This is not what I'm saying, whatever, or at all. All I'm saying is I find it very, very hard to believe that Kirk Cousins comes into San Francisco and gets the job done. There's no way in hell. If we have everybody starting on our defense, D Ford back, Jaquaski Tart, Quan Alexander, no way in hell Minnesota beats us. No way. I mean, it's just, there's no way. There's no way. So with this, there is a way they can beat us because it's the playoffs and the playoffs are crazy. I didn't think they'd beat the Saints, but they did, and I'm not sitting here whatsoever by any means underestimating the Minnesota Vikings because you cannot underestimate any given team in the playoffs. But my predictions for this game, I think the 49ers win this game 28-20, and I think that one of the main reasons we win is because our defensive line gets to Kirk Cousins and wreaks havoc. So with that, I got the 49ers advancing to the NFC Championship to play the Packers because, like I said in the beginning of this video, I think the Packers will win against the Seattle Seahawks. So I got the 49ers in this game 28-20, winning this game and advancing to the NFC Championship. So I really hope my predictions are right, and I'm really, really confident in this game. I really think we're going to win this game. We just have to limit turnovers. We have to limit mistakes, and we cannot let up big-time plays. McKellar Witherspoon. So let me know what you guys think of this game down in the comments down below. It doesn't even matter if you're a Niner fan. If you're a Vikings fan, let me know in the comments down below. No bad blood. Want to hear from you guys. So with that being said, drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll be back all throughout today with more videos. So stay tuned, turn on post notifications. Peace out.